Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into something pretty exciting, actually, something that really feels like it could redefine things for DevSecOps teams. We're talking about the latest release from GitLab version 18.2. It officially landed on July 17th, 2025. And look, this isn't just a minor tweak. It feels like a really significant step forward, packed with stuff to make your work smoother, smarter, and definitely more secure. Oh, and it's important we mention this overview and the insights we're hoping to share with you today. They are made possible by our friends at ALM Toolbox. Yeah, they're a selected GitLab partner. Been working with them since 2016, US and worldwide. Real GitLab champions.
It's absolutely right. GitLab 18.2, it's pretty comprehensive. The core focus seems to be on, let's say, three main areas. You've got these deeply integrated AI workflows, which are fascinating, then significantly enhanced security, always crucial, and a real push on improving the developer experience day to day. It's all geared towards modern DevSecOps teams, really. And it's not small, over 30 new features in this release alone.
Well, over 30. Okay, that's a lot to get through, which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive, right? Our mission today is basically to give you the quick guide, the shortcut to understanding the most impactful changes in 18.2. We want to pull out those aha moments, the key things you need to know, without you having to wade through all the documentation yourself. Okay, so let's unpack this. Where should we start? Maybe with the biggest news. Okay. The AI stuff? Yeah, let's do that. Because if you've ever, wished for an AI assistant that actually understands your code, your project, well, 18.2 seems to be getting much closer to that. This is genuinely interesting because it's not some separate tool you bolt on. We're talking about AI features built right into your development environment. That changes things.
It really does. The big headline here is the GitLab Duo agent platform for IDEs. It's in beta right now. But basically, imagine your AI helper living inside your or your JetBrains IDE. It lets developers talk to their code bases, their GitLab projects, using just, well, natural language. Think of it like connecting a very smart, context-aware AI directly to your GitLab instance and your local code. It understands your project structure, commits, CI/CD history, all of it. Responds right there in the IDE.
Okay, so what does that mean for you as a developer, practically speaking? How does it help day to day? I see two things mentioned here. Agentic chat.
Yeah, agentic chat is for those quick focused tasks. Let's say you need to find where a specific function is used everywhere, then maybe create a new test file for it. Normally that's a bunch of searching, copying, pasting, kind of tedious. With agentic chat, you could just type something like, find all uses of process user data and make a test stub for it. The AI handles it, saves you minutes, maybe more.
Right, cutting down that repetitive work. Okay, that makes sense for small tasks. But what about bigger things? Planning, bigger code changes. It mentions agent flows.
Exactly. So beyond the quick chats, you have agent flows. These are designed for, well, larger planning and implementation work. And what's really fascinating here is how they work. They don't just operate in isolation. They actually leverage all your existing GitLab resources, your issues, merge requests, commits, CI/CD pipelines, even security scan data. The AI understands the connections, like this issue led to that merge request, which triggered this pipeline, and oh, here's the security result related to that code change. This kind of interconnected understanding helps you move ideas from just a concept towards a real architecture.
So it's not just a chatbot reading docs. It understands the project's history and structure.
Yeah.
How does it get that context? How does it know my project?
Good question. A lot of that comes down to the underlying tech. Specifically, they mention support for the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Think of MCP as the way the AI gets its memory or understanding of your specific projects, details your coding style, common patterns, the libraries you use. So the AI isn't just giving generic programming answers, it gets the context of your code, your current task. This lets it do more than just chat. It can provide deeper analysis of the project, and crucially, it can summarize merge request feedback. Imagine getting a summary of all the comments on your MR instead of reading through 20 different threads. That could seriously speed up code reviews.
Oh yeah, synthesizing MR feedback automatically. It'll be huge. Less time parsing comments, more time fixing the code. Okay, so AI is getting smarter, faster. But fast code isn't great if it's insecure code, right? Speeding towards disaster. So that brings us to security. GitLab always talks a big game here. What's new in 18.2 to keep projects safe?
You're right, security is always a pillar. And 18.2 definitely continues that. The focus seems to be on faster, more actionable feedback and better control. One big improvement is getting inline vulnerability scanning results directly in merge requests. So you see potential issues right there as you're reviewing the code changes. You can fix them immediately before they merge.
Ah, shift left in action.
Exactly. And you can now also assign vulnerabilities directly within the pipeline editor. This gives clearer ownership for fixing things, helps with accountability, faster turnaround, and for anyone using infrastructure as code, which is, super common now.
Defining servers and networks in code, yeah.
Right. There's enhanced support for ISC security reports. GitLab now gives you much more detailed insights into potential security flaws or misconfigurations in that code itself, or even deploy anything.
Finding problems in the blueprints, basically. Those sound like solid improvements to the core scanning. Any standout new features for specific security headaches, like container security?
Absolutely. For Ultimate users, there's a really significant one, immutable container tags. This is pretty crucial. It means once a container image is tagged, like production v1.2, it cannot be changed at all.
So once it's approved and tagged, nobody can sneakily modify that image later.
Precisely. It guarantees the integrity of the container from build right through to deployment. Huge for trust and security. And related to containers, there's also improved archive file scanning support in container scanning. It can now look inside more types of archive files like .zip, .tar, .jar within your containers to find vulnerabilities hidden in bundled packages. Wider net, fewer blind spots.
Okay, locking down the built image and better scanning of what goes into the image makes sense. And what about seeing the bigger picture? Understanding your overall risk across everything.
Yeah, that's where the new security inventory and dependency path visualization comes in. This is really important for proactive risk management. Think about vulnerabilities hidden deep in dependencies libraries that your code uses that use other libraries.
The transitive dependency nightmare.
Exactly. Before, finding the exact path of how a vulnerable library affects your main application could be really hard, really manual. Now, this visualization shows you the entire chain, from your app down through every dependency right to the vulnerable component. It gives you this centralized view of risk across all your projects and groups. It makes it much easier to prioritize fixes and understand your actual exposure.
That kind of visibility must be a game changer for security teams. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. We've got AI, we've got security. What about just the daily grind, making everyday development and project management smoother? Those quality of life things that really impact you when you're actually working.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a big one here, especially for premium and ultimate users, configurable statuses for issues and tasks. For a long time, GitLab issues were basically just open or closed, maybe with labels, but the core status was binary. Now you can define your own statuses, align them with how your team actually works. So you could have to do, in progress, in review, blocked, ready for QA, deployed, whatever fits your workflow.
So you can make the tool match your process, not the other way around.
Exactly. And this enables things like bulk editing statuses, quicker updates, better visibility on boards and lists. It just makes tracking work much more granular and intuitive.
That sounds genuinely useful, tailoring the workflow. And speaking of tailoring views, there's a new merge request homepage. Yeah, the workflow view and the role view. The workflow view organizes your MRs by stage, like what's ready for review, what needs changes, etc. Helps you see where things are in the process. And the role view groups them by your involvement. Are you the author? Are you a reviewer? So you can quickly see what needs my attention right now. It's about cutting through the noise, directing your focus.
Right, minimizing that feeling of where do I even start? And beyond those big structural changes, there's some other practical upgrades too. Like you can now bulk edit issue titles using regular expressions, regex.
Ooh, okay. If you need to rename a whole bunch of related issues after a refactor or something.
Precisely. Saves potentially hours of manual clicking and typing. Huge time saver for big updates. Also, there's the ability to delete tag rules on container registries via the API, more for automation and managing large registries cleanly. And, circling back to AI just a bit, the code suggestions from GitLab Duo are now more context-aware. It's not just suggesting generic code snippets, it's using that deeper project understanding we talked about to give more relevant help, both when you're writing code and reviewing it, if you connect the dots. All these little things, they add up. They're about smoothing out those daily friction points for developers.
Yeah, those small improvements can make a massive difference to productivity and, frankly, just developer happiness. Okay, so let's zoom out one last time. How does 18.2 help, say, engineering managers or team leads get a handle on overall performance and operations?
Good question. For that kind of oversight, 18.2 adds some key metrics to the value streams dashboards. Specifically, they've added deployment frequency and lead time. These are pretty standard but crucial DORA metrics. How often are we shipping? And how long does it take an idea to get from commit to production? Having these right in the dashboard gives managers much better visibility into team throughput, potential bottlenecks, the overall health of the delivery pipeline. It gives you actual data to work with.
Right, moving beyond gut feelings to actual metrics, essential for improvement and for the folks running their own GitLab instances. Any admin goodies?
Yeah, a couple of helpful things for self-managed admins. One is filtered search for runners. If you've got a large instance with potentially hundreds of CI/CD runners, finding the specific one you need can be tricky. This filtering should make runner management much easier. And the other is scheduled deletion for personal access tokens, PATs. You can set tokens to automatically expire after a certain time, which is great for security hygiene, prevents old, forgotten tokens from sticking around as potential risks. Exactly. Both are about better manageability and security for the instance itself. Filtered search helps keep the CI/CD infrastructure running smoothly, and scheduled token deletion is just good practice. Automating some of that security cleanup makes the admin's job a bit easier, makes the instance safer.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive on GitLab 18.2, it feels like a really well-rounded release. We've seen a major push on AI integration, really embedding it into the workflow. Serious enhancements to security posture from code to container, more flexibility in how you manage workflows with those configurable statuses and MR views, and better insights for managers with the new metrics. It really shows GitLab's continued commitment, doesn't it? Empowering DevSecOps teams with smarter, more secure tools.
It certainly does. And, it feels like they're also laying the groundwork for what's next. There are hints about extending configurable statuses to epics and objectives later on, maybe supporting multiple life cycles within a project, and even talk of an AI catalog for specialized agents, which sounds intriguing, points towards even more customization, more sophisticated AI down the line. So yeah, this release definitely sets the stage for future improvements.
Absolutely. It's not just about the features today, but how they're building towards this more integrated, more intelligent future for software development.
Yeah.
So as you go about your day, maybe think about it. What really stood out to you from this dive into GitLab 18.2? And how do you see these kinds of features changing how you work over the next year or so? Lots to think about. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.